Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Tower Dive. I'm your host, Dota. Joining me today is Rutledge is a Beast, team captain for Conquer Academy, Gertson, ADC for Conquer Academy. I play support, staff, and content creator for the Bronze, Silver, Gold competitive series, Boslo, team captain for 9nips, and Corey, the creepy IT guy that every company has. So, let's get into our first topic. With the addition of Gertson, are Conqueror unbeatable? And I already know the answer from the two Conqueror guys. So, if you are unbeatable, which team would be a close second? We'll go with you, Rutledge, please.
So, are we unbeatable? I would actually say no, because of the fact that we have lost 3 games and a couple in really, really bad fashion. Now, I will say that those losses were generally because we didn't have either our full bot lane or we didn't have our AD carry. So now that we've kind of shored up those problems, it's definitely, I think we're the hardest team to beat, and I think it's by a significant margin. Because that has been our struggle all season, was kind of, do we have a bot lane that can actually carry? And ever since we've gotten one, we've been able to beat people within 25 minutes or less. So until that is proven wrong, I'm just going to say we're just the hardest to beat. I don't think we're unbeatable, though. So that's my input from that.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Gertz, please.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think we're still beatable. I kind of see myself having a different playstyle than Jocko. Just watching some of his games, I think I have different strengths and other weaknesses. But I think it helps make us more diverse and harder to beat, like Rutledge was saying. But I think if we were to lose a game, it wouldn't be because the ADC change
Okay,
or
fair
addition.
enough. Right. Okay. So, I mean, if you don't want to answer the question because you guys are saving your secrets, that's fine. But if you do, awesome. So, what are you guys looking for here? Are you guys looking to be like just kind of swap in and out because you have, like you said, different strengths, weaknesses? So you're maybe trying to swap in and out depending on what team you're facing, or how's it working?
I'll answer
Sorry,
first.
Rutledge can
So
yeah.
we hadn't even fully. It was more TiVo kind of just came up to me. Apparently, he had talked to Gurikson, and he's friends with Gurikson because Gurikson has been involved with him in other teams or owned other teams that he has played on. So we hadn't actually broken it down exactly what the breakdown would be. My envisioning is it's more of Gurikson as an all-around fill. Because we do have problems getting people there to every game. Like, it's pretty much, we have shown consistently that we sometimes are at least missing one person. So having an all-around solid, just mechanical player that can kind of fill in a lot of roles would be key. I think Gerson can do that. But we haven't explicitly talked about that relationship and how he's planning on filling in. Because I'm pretty happy with Jocko at 80 carry. But if Jocko obviously can't show up, then Gerson would be the obvious first choice.
Okay. Yeah. No. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Dory. Please, or I'm sorry, Bosco, I skipped you.
That's fine. It's fine. Just like everything's exploding around me, you can ignore me too. I don't think any team's really unbeatable, including Conquer. Conquer right now is probably the strongest team in the entire tournament. I think that they look very well. I think the addition of Gertson doesn't make them any less stronger or weaker, or any more stronger or any more weaker. So I don't think it really changes too much. As Gertson said before, him and Jocko have very different playstyles as an AD carry and different goals in what they're trying to do.
Okay. So you're the same opinion. Beatable, but number one.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Corey, please, your thoughts.
I think they are beatable. I don't think they're very beatable in their own group. Naughty Nips may be able to do it depending on what Boslo can pull out of his behind. But the team's really strong. Gertson was really strong on RBP. The only weakness I guess I can see, and I'm really sorry, is Gertson's numbers did go down a good amount when he switched from RBP. The team funneled a lot of resources into him, and he was their primary carry. And he switched to a couple teams that don't necessarily need him to carry anymore. So I kind of want to see what they do with that dynamic with Rutledge and with Phoenix, and Gimpy playing around his solo lanes a lot.
Okay. Yeah. No. Definitely some good concerns. I play support. Please, your thoughts.
Okay. So going into the Gertson decision at first, I'm actually really surprised that an ADC of all players would be picked up when Jocko Locko has been here for 2 weeks, and he's been a great player. So I'm just surprised that of all positions, an ADC was picked up by this team. But you guys did say that he might flex So I'm interested to see how that goes. As far as is CQR beatable, this is what I had to say about them earlier today. And this is a quote from what I said earlier in the Discord. I said, Rutledge lives up to his name. Rutledge is beast. Jocko entered the league with a bang. He's been doing great. Phoenix kind of holds his lane and then presses R in late game. Like, he destroys team fights. Obviously, if you've seen what he did to Havoc, it's obviously something he could do again. Gimster, I said he just farms to 6. And I, at the time, actually forgot who their support was. So, no offense. But that means that he hasn't been particularly spectacular. So I'm really interested to see going into playoffs and when the rosters lock, what are you going to do with Gertzen? And is the gift going to be a curse? If you guys play with somebody who you haven't practiced with as much, could it be a downfall?
Yeah, no, good questions. Yeah, I definitely concur. I guess my thoughts on it would be, I'm kind of in the same boat where it's like, Jock, I think, has been doing some great performances. Gertzen is definitely known as a very good ADC. So you have two very good ADCs on the same team. So I guess, to me, my thought is, even if Gertzen isn't playing in the ADC role, if he plays Phil, that's good. You need a Phil player. As we all know, everyone has lives outside the league. Well, except for Gimpy, obviously. But everyone else has lives outside the league. So it's nice to have a sub player, someone that you can count on to be there, and someone that can be competent in the role. And also, if you're thinking long-term, picking up a solid ADC just takes that away from every other team. So now, instead of playing against him, you have Gertzen on your team, not on the other team, so it's a double win. Do I think Conqueror are the number 1 team in the league? Yeah, I think so. I think they were definitely number 1, number 2 in the league. AOL right around them, and now with this addition, I think it only strengthens the team even more. I know AOL are definitely working hard, though. A lot of people are questioning them. Are they kind of maybe giving up? Are they just kind of like coasting for the rest of the season because they've had a few losses? But some unnamed sources got back to me, let me know that AOL are 100% going to try to win out the rest of the season. No more losses until playoffs. That's the goal. We'll see if they can accomplish that or not, but that's the goal. So AOL are looking to be back to number 1 without all this talk of Conqueror. Let's move on to our next topic. So roster lock is occurring next week. Do you foresee any players jumping ship, quote unquote, to join another team prior to the roster lock occurring? If so, what are those players and will they go? Let's go back to I Play Support.
So right off the bat, I want to rename this question to, where's Hero of Termina going? He is the number 1 player known for just jumping from team to team. And he says that it's that he follows supports that he thinks are good. So, I'm interested to see if that's true, if he's going to do it one more time before the roster's lock, or if he's just going to go back to his home, his original team, Season 1, AOO. And I'm curious to see if he's just going to go back home and see if he could win it out.
Yeah, no, it's a very good question. I mean, AOL's been on, AOL. Hero's been on Aether for how many weeks now?
2 or 3.
Maybe 1 or 2.
No, it's 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, it's been
3.
2 or 3.
This is his 3rd week.
Okay. So he's
Okay.
definitely looked good. Apparently, I forgot who said it a couple weeks ago on the Tower Dive, said that he basically is going to stay on Aether and or quit the league. He will not team hop. Is that true or not? I don't know. But so far, he seems to be sticking to his word. Gertzen, what do you think?
Yeah, if Hero does go to another team, it'll be interesting based on whether other teams are willing to make a big change before playoffs start. I think there's possible that some players do change teams, but I don't see any big name players changing teams. And if any smaller name players might fill in for new teams coming in, that would be the only thing I would see.
Fair enough. Dory K, please.
I doubt this will happen. Your captain usually goes down with the ship, but someone I'd really love to see kind of get his team to let him go and kind of try to get into a playoff team is actually Dazaran. I think he's a really good jungler, and he's super proactive and aggressive early game, and when Kiss get leads and when Kiss finally win games, it's because the guy just is in your face constantly trying to make something happen. And I'd be really excited to see Dazaran play on a much better structured team than Kiss.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think he is a very, very good jungler. He's putting up pretty good numbers, showing good things, and that's on a bottom tier team like Kiss. If he could be on a mid tier team, I think he would do phenomenal work on that team. The question is, will he? I think not, because most of the team and people I've talked to seem to be just, in it to have a good time, get better, learn the game, which is, I think, a very noble cause. But I don't see him jumping ship. What are your thoughts of Voslo, who I think are also looking for an ADC, right? Maybe Hero Terminal?
Yeah.
Hero? Huh? Hero Terminal? Go ahead, bud.
Anybody wants to jump ship? I know a team that needs some shipmates. Some
And in a very good spot for playoffs, I might add.
yeah, in a very good. We're pretty much like locked in almost at this point,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like a matter of less like finding bodies, warm bodies preferably. If they're slightly cold, I mean they're doable, but I prefer them to be a little bit more alive, and I don't have to use a microwave to warm them up. But well, there probably will be. We have the roster lot coming up. I imagine that there will be maybe some last minute changes to teams that happened right before that. Maybe some people don't really like the direction that the team is heading. Maybe somebody made a decision that not everybody's happy with. It'll be interesting to see.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if there are any specifics I could name.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Don't want to call anyone out. It's all right. Rutledge, thoughts?
So I think the majority of the roster hopping and jumping ships has occurred. I think a lot of the teams that have imploded are going to be the only ones to implode. Because a lot of the teams, I feel like, even skill cap, like they're a group of friends, like they're not necessarily super determined about winning. They more want to have fun, but probably also want to win. So I just don't see any of them like really jumping ship. I will say I want to answer this question with who I think one needs a solid player and a starter that could actually be really good if they did get a player in this role, and I'm going to say that's EG. I'm just going to say EG. It's easier to say. I think if they get a solid top laner from likes of CGEM, which was on Dota's Demons, correct?
Yes.
And Dota's Demons, we don't know what's happening to them. So I can see EG making some moves there. I think they need to be searching out for people that are willing to jump ship out of like the top 6-ish top laners in the league. Because if they can fill that role with a solid player and they fix their mechanical issues, especially if the top laner they bring in maybe makes some shot calls and kind of improves their macro play, I think that team could definitely contend at least for a playoff spot at the bare minimum, if not maybe even upset some of the higher ranked teams right now.
Yeah, no, I 100% concur. My thoughts on the matter, honestly, yeah, with roster lock, that's kind of the time where you have to decide, I think for most players, again, not all players, because there are some players who just join the league to have a good time or just improve themselves. But I think the vast majority of players are here to win, or at least get as close as they can to winning. So roster lock is the time to jump ship if you're going to do so. We were joking earlier, but I do think 9nips it's a great time to jump ship to 9nips because given, without some catastrophe happening, 9nips will make playoffs. They might be 4th seed, but they will make playoffs. So that's a good team to jump ship to. And like you said, a couple of the bottom teams, that's the team to jump ship. Kiss Gaming, and then from Baron, you have like Havoc, maybe Frosty, and then I don't see anyone from AE or EG jumping ship just because they're so very, very close to the cutoff. The same thing with skill cap, but definitely Frosty, Havoc, Kiss Gaming would be the team, or the players from those teams would jump ship to like say 9nips, or they might just jump in as being a substitute because it's better to end up first place as a sub than last place as a starter, in my opinion anyway. So let's go to the next topic though. Skill Clap Gaming. What happened to this team last week? This team was on a super hot run, winning game after game, week after week. I think they were like, 5 weeks in a row, winning, undefeated. And then we get to week 7, and they lose to Kiss Gaming. They lost to All One Lane, which I'll admit was not very much an upset. They lost to OC Nation. Also, and the only team they beat was Dota's Demons, and it wasn't a very clean game. So what happened to this team? Is Ageless Tiger the only thing that allows this team to win? They just have an off week. What's your thoughts? We'll go with you, Rutledge.
So simply gonna put yes. Ageless Tiger is the only thing that allows this team to win. If you were to see my rankings from this last week, which we'll have hopefully up for next week, but I have Buggy and Ageless Tiger at number 1 in each of their respective roles. So when that team is able to put those two bot lane together, that is what allows them to win. Coming from experience of being a team that they actually were able to beat in their spree of wins, yes, we might have trolled slightly, but their bot lane definitely hard carried, and they made it really difficult. I think their bot lane is probably the best duo, or at least it was, when they do have Ageless Tiger in the bot lane. I do think also that this last week they were just kind of getting desperate without him and just kind of throwing people into roles. They had like the Veer bot lane, and it's just not very good. I don't know if they have any other carry source besides Buggy, but he's mostly on support, and I think that's what he plays by far best. Even though his top lane isn't bad, he can't carry from there either. So I don't think they have another carry on the team besides Ageless Tiger when he's playing, and Buggy is able to support him to victory.
100% good analysis. Boslo.
I don't think it's the only thing that allows the team to win, but I'm sure that it definitely raises their chances from like a 25% to like a 75%. So I think he's very indicative of their. He's very useful to their team. He's very clearly a good AD carry. He does quite well. Him and Buggy seem to have good synergy. I think Buggy's pretty much like the main shot caller for that team, is like my guess, because like even when Aegis Tiger isn't there, they still have an idea of the map and macro and like what to do, but they don't have the skill to be able to actually do what they want.
Okay. Yeah. Nah. That very possibly could be it. Corey, thoughts?
Yeah, playing against them. Oh, I didn't actually play in that game against them. I watched. From what it seemed, those two just seemed to know where to go. Buggy and Ageless Tiger. They seemed to really shine for the team. I can't really see much from their mid laner. I sure as hell don't even know their jungler's name. He's a relic from last season of junglers doing nothing, letting the ADC do everything. And I don't know. Bot lane just seems to be really good and cause a lot of troubles for us, especially I believe we used our old bot lane that was not as strong for that game. So that's my thoughts. I think that Ageless Tiger and Buggy as a combo, just like the other guys, Vossalo and Rutledge said, is very much the most important members of the team.
Gertson, thoughts?
So I don't think he's like the only reason they can win, but I think he is like a very solid win condition for them. And sometimes it can be hard for a team to effectively transition different win conditions and play around different lanes and people. I'm also not entirely sure how the team dynamic is, but if he did communicate a lot and things like that, that also hurts a team when you don't have that, because then other people fill those voids and might not be as effective. So, yeah.
Fair enough. I played support. Please.
Okay, so just hearing you guys talk, because I personally don't know too much about skill cap. I haven't been watching them too carefully. You guys bring up Buggy a lot, and like I recognize Buggy. I've seen Buggy. Buggy seems like somebody who could operate without Ageless Tiger. Like clearly, Ageless Tiger has been a key position for their team. Like he can do what he has to do. But I think Buggy should get more credit, and I think you guys have been giving him that in your responses. But I also just want to take a moment to call out Rectum Rectum for getting very cocky last week, saying, and I quote, LMAO haven't even lost since week 2. And in that same day, he lost to the team with no wins, Kiss Gaming. So it makes me think, like, are they just cocky? Are they dependable? Is Ageless really the only carry they have? Or can Buggy pull something out? I think they should be able to lean on Buggy more and just not get big-headed, and they'll probably be able to pull some more wins out.
So into that whole cocky thing, definitely I think there's a little bit of cockiness going in that because week 1, I think they went 1-1, I believe, and then week 2 was when they had that disgusting stomp by Voslo and the boys, the 15-minute game. They did come back that week, I will admit. They did come back that week, and they won later that same day. So nice little bounce back. But they proceeded to win one more game, and then they said they thought they were the best team in the league. Not in their division, in the league, when they were sitting at 3-2 record. So I do think they are a wee bit cocky. But then, like I said, they went on a 5-week winning streak, looked really, really good, and I was like, hey, maybe they are right. They are the number 1 team. And then last week happened. Not the number 1 team. So I guess, yeah, it's very hard to say how much Ageless Tiger does. I mean, we can look at stats and say, yes, he is a very solid carry, but does he shot call? There's one sole shot caller and it's Ageless? Is it more democratic? Everyone just kind of throws in their 2 cents and they're like, yeah, that sounds like the best. Is Buggy a top laner? Is he a support player? I've seen him do both. He goes back and forth. A lot of questions with this team. But the biggest question is what happened last week? Is it solely Ageless Tiger holding this team together? Did they just have an off week? I mean, they had multiple weeks. I think they were off last week, and the week before that, they only had 1 game. So they have plenty of time to prepare for this week, so that's not the answer. But yeah, a lot of answers for skill cap, and playoffs are coming soon. This inconsistency isn't going to be what gets you into playoffs. But we'll go on to our final topic here. What's going to be the hottest match of the week, and who do you think is going to win said match? We'll go with you, Rutledge.
All right, so who do I think is going to be the hottest match? I think it's going to actually be Aether and Conqueror. It's going to be the last game on Sunday, or maybe first, depending on if time switches. But the reason I think this is because I think Aether's been looking really strong, especially with Hero on it. And you got also a lot of smack talk between Aleslo and the majority of the Conqueror members. Because Aleslo
I think you mean the majority of the server.
The majority of the server, correct, yes. You got delusional Aleslo versus the rest of the server. So we'll see if their team stays what we expect the roster to be, with Hero 80 carry and Aleslo at jungle. I think that could be a little bit of a spicy matchup because I don't see a lot of other games that should be super close in this week. But they have looked a lot stronger. They look like kind of a revamped team. So if they can keep that kind of momentum going, then we should at least see a nice little matchup with 2 teams that have been looking a lot better recently.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think Aether look really, really good. Definitely playoff caliber team.
And
right
who
now.
comes out?
Oh, sorry.
I forgot to mention who comes out victorious. Obviously, Conqueror.
I think everyone assumed that would be your answer. But yeah, like you said, I definitely agree. Aether are looking very, very good right now. But Voslo, your 2 cents, please, sir.
I was gonna steal that one. He stole it from me. I'm pretty sad, but I came up with I had a spicy secondary one. I'm gonna go with ESG versus Lobster Gaming because ESG is like by the skin of their teeth, like in a playoff spot. So like being able to beat or like show how good they're getting against Lobster could be very indicative of whether they'll be in playoffs or not.
Yeah, I have to agree, 100%. ESG, I think, been having some roster like subs. They've been using a lot of subs, not really their main 5. And if they can beat Lobsters, that's very, very good for their playoff hopes. If not, not so much. But we have questions about ESG. Let's go to the ESG guy, Corey.
I am not playing this weekend.
Oh, you guys got a chance. Excellent.
His Lulu support wasn't that bad.
My Lulu support was okay. My jungle, I don't want a jungle. Please stop making me. Do you hear me, Fridge? Please stop making me jungle. So I actually am going with Voslo's mentality here on playoff indications, I guess. Frosty and Enigmatic Gaming have a match at the very end of the weekend as well. Frosty against Naughty Nips. Voslo, I'm going to hope you get the team in the same shape it was in before you went boom, and just smash Frosty. Like, that's probably going to happen. And then Conqueror is going to not lose to Enigmatic, foot and mouth, if not. So it's really one team is going to be booted 2 wins away from the playoff position instead of 1, especially if Aether can pull out a win in one of their 2 games this week, one being against Havoc, and we're not 100% sure where Havoc is right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. First jerseys, Gertson, thoughts?
All right, so I'm gonna go with all these spicy games on Sunday. Gonna fill it out, the AOL versus OC Nation. I'm kind of surprised no one said this, but technically top two teams standing wise. Can they bring it in,
Mhm.
make a strong finals run? Not finals, but a strong run until the end of the regular season. So I'm excited for that matchup.
Yeah, and I think I guess to me, the big implication is AOL kind of coming off, pretty rough week for them because they lost, which hasn't happened up until week 6. Week 7, they did come back and beat Skill Cap, looked pretty good at that, but still, can they bounce back from their losses? I think Sievert's been a pretty big question mark for some people. Is he playing? Is he not? Because apparently he's been kind of MIA for some scrims. Some sources have been talking about. So I guess that's the big thing. Because to me, Sievert's a huge carry, and if he's not there, and then on the opposite end we have Big Play Jodway, who is a big carry. Is that the end for AOL? Is OC better now? And so that's to me. They've been closing the gap. Have they closed it? I don't know. Guess we'll find out Sunday. It's a very good pick, I think, though. I play support. Your thoughts?
I'm actually mad Gertson answered before me because that's exactly what I was going into. AOL versus OC Nation. Because OC Nation had beat Conquer. So if this team that actually, not many people are talking about, but this team snuck up the leaderboards and all of a sudden was tied with AOL. They were both 10-2, I believe. So for a team to just sneak up and is now contending for the number 1 spot, I'm really surprised it took all the way down to Gertson for anyone to mention the fact that they're playing against each other. And
They're not even contending, by the way.
you said, what'd you say?
They're not even contending. They're 13-3. They're the highest. They're the highest
13
win
and
rate
2.
team.
Okay, so yeah, after this past week, they're up. So I mean, that just adds to what I'm saying. This team has been explosive, and I feel like it was almost like a late game champion. They just bursted into the end of the season, and I feel like they're just gonna keep pushing forward. And in this matchup versus AOL, I feel like it's gonna be dependent on who their top lane is. If AOL can pull Sievert back, then it could be a slug match. It could be a 50-minute game that depends on actual skill and full builds and player versus player who can win. But I feel like if Sievert doesn't show up and they have a sub or an off role playing top against Big Play Jodway, he might just farm kills and carry out the game.
Yeah.
If you don't mind if I interject here just a little.
No, go ahead.
Just a little disclaimer on OC Nation, because you did mention them beating us. That was a completely different roster than what everybody's considering. We talked at question 1. Well, not completely different, but it's a pretty dramatically improvement from that week when we did play them, where we had a sub off roll. So that's why I kind of discredit them a little bit, and I still don't know if AOL, especially even without Sievert, is maybe still better than them, because they were getting smashed until we hard through, and then we didn't have a player in a role that they play at all. So I just wanted to throw out the disclaimer that I get your argument, but I also I don't even know if they can beat AOL without Sievert playing.
Oh man, I think you're really underestimating them.
Yeah, I think OC Nation are really good at scraping wins, and they get wins when it matters, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Other teams would roll over and just take the L, but at 45 minutes, they're in the base, 2 inhibitors down, Nexus turret going down. OC Nation will pull something out of their asses and somehow manage to win a fight and turn the game around and win. And that's the type of resilience that really makes a good team, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think OC Nation, their only losses right now are against All One Lane week 2. And then they also lost against Aether, but I think Big Play Jodway was out, right? Am I wrong on that one?
Yeah, they had 3 subs or something.
Yeah, so honestly, they've lost once to All One Lane. That's it. And then All One Lane have only lost when they've had also subs. So I guess if you want to say it, right now OC Nation has 1 loss, AOL has 0. I think OC are a super strong team. Their biggest problem though is they didn't really have a jungler. It seemed like every week there was just some random dude they pulled off the street, fed him, gave him a bath, and was a week later. But now that they have a solid jungler in
Drakenrich.
Drakenrich, yes. I think he looks like a good jungler, and I think OC are a super, super strong team. And I think it'll be a good match if Seaver shows up. If Seaver doesn't show up, then I do feel it might be kind of boring. It might just be OC Nation running away with it. My thoughts. I could be wrong. But that's definitely, I think, going to be looking good. And then for my pick, I'll have to say for the week, I'm going to go with EG and Frosty. Right? They play. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Excellent. So my pick would be EG Frosty, just because Frosty kind of had their little Smurf incident, and then they had to reschedule, do a lot of remakes. They've won a lot of them. EG lost their carry. Honestly, one of their carries in Night Show. He's gone, and I think their replacement top laner is also MIA right now. And both of these teams are right on the cusp of making playoffs. Right now, we have 4 teams in Baron Division that are basically the same scoreline. We have Skill Cap 7-6, AE 7-7, EG 6-8, and then Frosty are 6-7. So they're all right near each other. EG playing Frosty is huge because whichever team would get the one up on the head-to-head match, and then also obviously just pick up the win to help them get to playoffs. So that to me has huge ramifications for the Baron Division playoff picture. My 2 cents on the matter. So I think that's all the time and questions we have for today. This has been the Tower Dive. I'm your host, Dota. This has been my panel of experts. We stream every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Saturday, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard on Twitch TV/Duo Esports. Come check us out. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us, all that fun stuff. We're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we'll see you guys next week.